Former Rockette and Broadway film and television actress Chryssie Whitehead visits the Twin Cities this weekend. Her one-woman show, In My Own Little Corner, comes to the Bloomington Center for the Performing Arts on Saturday. Whitehead is touring with the production to tell her story about living with bipolar II disorder. That's a diagnosis she received at age 38 after her mother's death. To the average person, Whitehead's career trajectory reads like a fairy tale. She got bit by the theater bug doing a community theater production of a chorus line in South Carolina and eventually wound up in a chorus line on Broadway. As Whitehead tells WGLT's Lauren Warnicki, there were lots of twists and turns in between, plus ups and downs she later realized were not typical.
My mom died of a slow suicide. So we're really here today because of how I watched my mom slowly give up on life. So my life went from like bumping into cameras, life is good, I'm chorus line Chryssie, to my mom's falling down in the streets. She's not telling me anything. She's losing a ton of weight. I don't know what's going on with her. She's secretive and I'm scared. And then she died. I was very alone in my head. I didn't want to be here. Luckily, I didn't get too far down in the hole that I was still able to see that this person that I was being, I didn't recognize, and I didn't know how to like get out of it. So I talked to a family therapist friend, and I remember just crying to her going, I don't recognize myself. I don't know who I am right now, but I know I need help. I wrote this show. This is not Chryssie Whitehead coming back out to have a Broadway show or whatnot. It's really not. If it gets to Broadway, great. That means more people will see it. Because the mission for our show is just to normalize conversations around mental health.
By being open and sharing your story, that's one way to do that, to just start a conversation about it. If we have the advocacy and how it may help others in one bucket, what does it give to you?
It is catharsis. I am different talking about the show today than I was even if you watched a podcast from me last year. Because I don't make it such a big deal anymore, it's not a big deal for me. It just doesn't. And the more and more I practice, like they say, practice makes confidence. I say practice makes confidence all the time. Not perfect. So I think the more and more I do the show, the more healing it is for me. And the show is not just about my mental health. It's also about my mom. I think there is going to come a time where I'm going to be like, I think I'm good at going through becoming my mother, telling her things that she did that caused her such sickness in her life. That's the part that's the hardest. But I do it because it's just so sad.
But I wonder if somehow the internal work on yourself, the external work of creating the show, and the work of creating a positive environment for everybody involved in it, if that can somehow be also like a change agent for how the performing arts operate.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is inherently positive, and there are always road bumps in the road. The majority of who we are working with is definitely like been incredible. And then every now and then you're going to have moments that are, you go, we're not on the same page. Oh, this isn't a good fit. That's hard because you have a mental health show, right? And you're going to say, we're not a good fit. Right. I mean, it's hard. So I don't want to sit here and presume that like we are this perfect company. It is evolved organically. And I will say that on all parties involved, that whoever has been involved with IMLC Productions, that there has been good intentions. Like, I don't believe anybody wakes up every day and says, how can I screw up my job today? And even with good intentions, sometimes somebody's good intentions and another person's good intentions may not line up.
The last thing I really wanted to talk about, and it kind of combines the last two questions a little bit. You know, this is about your mental health journey. How are you making sure that you preserve your mental health as you tour and talk about your mental health journey?
Thank you so much for even asking that. Like, these are great questions.
Oh, thanks.
So we have about 6 more cities on the road, and then we're going to do about three shows for free, for fun in New York City. Come, be in the audience, and then we'll try and sell it, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But as long as I can film it and I can can it, and then as far as my own mental health, I practice my daily routines. I really do my very best at taking good care of this, and I know when I'm not, and I'm not perfect. I meditate in the mornings, which could be anything for anybody, right? Meditation is like saying you just take like 5 minutes and you pray. I mean, it's just a rest for your brain. And unless you're praying out of fear, like my mom always did, I don't recommend that. I pray out of gratitude, but and then like what I eat, I don't drink anymore. Water, because I noticed that these little things help me. And when I'm doing on the road, I make sure that I just set myself up to do the best that I can that day. And one day is going to be better than another, and that's okay. But yeah, I try very hard the show keeps me accountable. How about that?
In my own little corner, my work in progress with bipolar disorder takes place Saturday night at 6 at the Bloomington Center for the Performing Arts. The show is free for mental health professionals. Integrity counseling and creative healing art therapy will be on hand during a talkback and meet and greet with Chryssie Whitehead following the show. Whitehead spoke with WGLT's Lauren Warnicki.